Charles Soule and Ramon Rosanas pull off a daring heist as the rebel leadership go on a quick vacation to a resort world where an Imperial holds the key to saving the rebel alliance. Charles Soule throws the rebel heroes into a classic heist story this issue as Leia tries to figure out a way to keep the rebel alliance afloat, keep them one step ahead of the Empire. Amilyn Holdo returns this issue and we get to explore her and Leia's friendship a little bit more, but really it never really goes the whole way and we only get little tidbits here and there throughout the issue, which are still good, but I wish we'd gotten something a little bit more solid and concrete since we've seen their relationship in the past and I would have liked to have built on that a little bit more. Most of the issue is spent with the heist caper and it was fun seeing each character have a role in the heist, especially Luke who gets to stretch his Jedi powers a little more, and after the last arc I like that he's adopted the all black getup we see him in Return of the Jedi. Soule also provides some cool connections to the High Republic and to the Dr. Aphra book with a Path engine making an appearance and some Nihil ships, as well as shooting the heroes off into the great unknown that is no space, something that has appeared in the High Republic and the Aphra comics, so I'm very excited to see what new adventure they get up to. Ramon Rosanas' artwork continues to be top tier, visualizing the heist really well with cool action sequences that remind me of Luke's first appearance in Mandalorian, especially how he appears in the docking bay with all the stormtroopers, and had some interesting opening pages that put the characters lounging around a pool at like a resort, a really strange but new and refreshing sight to see these characters who are usually on a battlefield or in some sort of peril, so to see them sort of relaxed and just sort of chilling out playing cards is really quite cool. Star Wars issue 29 begun a new story arc with a fun heist theme that connects it to some ongoing books and lore while expanding some of the character relationships a little. I'm going to give this issue an 8 out of 10. Star Wars issue 29 heads to Spira in the Galactic Core, where Leia asks Holdo what they are doing on a resort world. Amilyn says that they are taking a break since they all deserve it, and on another side of the pool, Lando wins another game of sabacc against Chewbacca. He asks Lobot if he wants a game, but the man stays silent, making Lando quip about how it's probably for the best he doesn't challenge him. Lando asks Luke, but the hero is busy reading the book that he found about the Force and the Jedi. Lando wants Luke to come and play with them, so he stops making the Wookiee cry, which angers Chewbacca. Lando knows that they are all there for the vacation and he needs to just chill out, pushing Chewie into the pool. Luke uses the Force to prevent the splashing water from hitting him and his book as Leia wants to hear what Holdo has on the rebel supply chain issues. Amilyn says that she's having trouble accessing fuel and replacement parts and even food since their connections from Crimson Dawn have dried up. Leia knows that they couldn't trust Lady Kira, but Holdo knows it could be something else and Crimson Dawn might be in trouble, but this is all about Leia since she is constantly putting herself in danger and carrying the weight of the entire galaxy, and if she doesn't have a break, she will break herself. So she borrowed the resort from a friend for the heroes to take advantage of and have a short rest for a few days before going back and saving the rebellion. Leia asks how they will do that, so her friend says that they will get dressed up and go to a fancy party. Later that night, an auction takes place for a Nihil strike ship, with the curator of the Imperial Museum bidding high on it. The disguised Amilyn bids against him, but Leia warns her that she doesn't have the money to do this. Holdo, however, has a plan, deliberately not wanting to tell Leia the plan since it makes it fun. She says that she brought them to Spiro not just to relax, but it's also a planet where you can get things you can't get anywhere else. She keeps raising the bid on the ship and reveals that she can figure out the rebel supply chain issues as there are a set of tanker ships that were lost for centuries, and they are full of Tabana and coaxium and other things, and she knows where they are. Leia knows that she is talking of the mythical Kezarat convoy. Holdo finds that she is losing the bid, asking Luke if he can use his Force powers to get the curators to stop bidding. Luke finds that there is something dark side related that is distracting him, but he can at least try. Lando, however, stops him, contacting Leia and telling her that if Luke does that, they will have a high-ranking Imperial wondering why he lost an auction that he was sure he was going to win, and why the people who won it matched the description of some of the most wanted people in the galaxy. Not to mention the man probably knows the Force, being that he runs a history museum, so he'll know he's been mind tricked. Lando tells them that it's way too hot to handle, but he has an idea, wanting them to let the Curator win it. Leia and the others let the Curator win, and later the strike ship is loaded into the Curator's shuttle. The Curator tells his men to keep watch over the ship all night while he goes and gets some rest. As the shuttle guards go about their patrols, Luke pops out of the shadows, igniting his lightsaber and carving through the men as Lando, Leia, and Holdo shoot them from above. Chewie ambushes one of the men, smashing the trooper's head into the hull of the shuttle before he can lock it up. Lando tells his friends his plan would work since the troopers would see Luke's saber and think of the fat reward on the Jedi there is, and they wouldn't be thinking of anyone else being there. Luke thinks that it could have been a problem for him, but Lando knows his friend has that book he has to get back to, so he would have lived. The team look over the prize and Holdo tells him that they don't actually need the ship itself, but something that's inside of it. Holdo gets Luke to cut a hole in the Nihil ship at a specific point, warning him not to cut too deep. Inside, the team find the path engine they are after, and later as Chewie and Lobot install the engine into their ship, Lando learns that they are going after the Kezerat convoy, something Lando is disappointed by since it's just a fairy tale. Holdo knows it's more than just a story since the convoy disappeared the same day some giant storm hit hyperspace, and it was a big deal back then, and they tied the storm back to the people who were using the path engines, the Nihil. Lando knows that her ghost stories are crazy, and she left out the part where the last message of the convoy was sent was just garbled gibberish. Amilyn reveals that she might have been able to crack that code that was in it. She says that she believes the path engines are like the current hyperspace navigational computers, which need navigational data in order to enter hyperspace. So if she fed the convoy's last message into the path engine, it might allow them to access the hyperspace access codes and take them to the convoy. Lando isn't too convinced, knowing it could also just be nothing. Amilyn activates the device, but it does nothing, confirming Lando's suspicions. Leia wonders if this was supposed to be her version of a vacation that she would actually agree to because it could maybe help the Alliance. Holdo admits that she was just stringing a bunch of random things together, hoping to get further than this, and she figured that they would spend a few days on the Skyfarer with a massage droid and then get back to work. Leia understands Holdo was just trying to help, calling her a good friend as Chewie alerts them to some TIE fighters coming in. Amilyn finds that they were tracked from the auction house as they destroy the resort mansion they stayed at. Holdo knows that her friend is going to kill her as she takes the Skyfarer into space. The path engine begins to activate as Holdo enters hyperspace, and she knows that she didn't activate the system yet as the rebels find themselves taken by the path engine into no space.